Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. My name is Albert, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the different roles or maybe different departments in an early stage SaaS startup. And I had a lot of friends, well, not a lot, I have one friend in particular that was like saying to me, hey, I don't really understand what people do at their jobs. And then kind of thinking about it, like maybe my third or fourth year into working, I also didn't really understand what people did at their jobs, right? It's like, what do people do? I don't really get what these different departments do. So hopefully, if you understand what a SaaS startup does or a startup does, a more established company is really the same thing, just more detailed and more intricate, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, real quick, just to define what a SaaS startup is. SaaS is an acronym for Software as a Service, and this became really popular in the last decade and 2 decades or so, right? Maybe decade and a half. I'm not really sure. But what a SaaS startup is a software where you pay a recurring fee for it, right? So if you imagine how people used to buy software in the past, they would make the software and they would install it on site, maybe on the company servers or something like that. It's really expensive. You pay a lot of money up front, and then there's not really any updates to it, right? Or maybe you pay for the updates, etc. Now it's like a software that's constantly updating. And the reason this has become more popular because companies like Amazon Web Services have really taken the foundation of starting a company, made it much cheaper. So now a startup can like start a company and start releasing software because a lot of the infrastructure is already built. So the benefits of a SaaS is really the recurring revenue model, and because the recurring revenue is typically higher margins, but it's also a higher valuation. So let's say, for example, you're evaluating, a law office or a dental office. Let's call it dental office. I don't really know how they sell. Well, let's say a funeral home, right? A funeral home might multiply, 4 to 5 times earnings, right? So like how much profit is made, and you'll say, I'll sell this business. I make $2 million a year. This business will sell for $6 million, right? So if you're a company, you want to buy this other company, you'll pay $6 million as a multiple of earnings. For a startup, because they have recurring revenue and they also have high margins, they typically get, and they also usually high growth. They'll get some sort of multiple like a multiple of revenue, which is much better, and they may get like a 7 to 10x revenue if they're growing at a very fast pace. Okay, because there's a lot of opportunity for growth. Yeah, that's just some background on SaaS, and these are the different departments that I could think of that I have at my company, and there's a couple more that I can think of that we don't have. But I wanted to kind of go over this and go over some concepts of it from my point of view, which is from sales. So I work in sales, and I'll kind of go over these different departments. Right? So obviously, sales. I'm not even exaggerating. Sales, I think, is the most important department of an early stage startup because they bring in the money, right? If there is no sales, then there is no company essentially. And one of the mistakes that I think a lot of people have when doing a startup, they think that if you build the best product in the world, people are just gonna buy it, and that's definitely not true. So you definitely need someone selling it. It doesn't matter how good your product is, you definitely need someone to sell it. It's also a really good place to start your career if you're trying to get into tech. I think being a salesperson definitely helps a lot. And the thing about sales too is they hire people without a lot of experience because they train you, right? Whereas a lot of other positions like you're never gonna get hired like in marketing without any experience, right? I don't know why that is, but that's kind of the thing is. So it's a good place to start your career. Okay, so then kind of moving backwards from sales to marketing. Marketing is really, you know, getting your company's name out there, getting interest, getting people to come and knock on your door and say, hey, I'm interested in your product, tell me more about it. Whereas sales is kind of going out and getting people to, going out and trying to tell them that you need something, right? So obviously marketing is like you see an ad on TV. Sales like I go to your house and say, hey, you should buy this product. All right. Going down the line, probably the less obvious one is implementation. So when the sales makes a sale, they say, hey customer, we agree that you're going to buy this product, and now we're going to set you up, right? The salesperson at that point typically is done with interacting with the customer. They've kind of negotiated all the terms, they got payment, they got contract signed, and then the implementation team will come in and implement the product, right? So depending how difficult the product is, there's going to be some setup. We got to make sure that the settings are correct. We got to make sure that everything's set up to your specifications. There's some training involved maybe. So there's implementation that pretty much will do all the work on getting everything set up. And that's what implementation does. And after that, it comes to customer success. And these are a group of people that are responsible for getting the customer to use the product. Okay. One of the biggest things that I had no idea of when we started the company is we had no idea you needed customer success. I thought, hey, you want to buy this product, it's gonna be great for you. You buy it, and you're gonna start using it on your own. No, that never happens. You actually need a team of people to go out there and get this customer to use your product, even though they're paying for it. Okay, getting someone to change action is like really difficult. And I think some of the most successful startups have like 30% of their employees are customer success, and maybe implementation loop in there as well. But that's how important of a role it is. The customer success are like the account managers that make sure that your customer is happy and they're getting value out of their product, because it's a recurring model, so they can quit, and you don't want them to quit. So making sure that your churn is very low is super important to the valuation and the success of a SaaS company. And then other obvious ones, customer support. Obviously these are the people that kind of make sure that if you have a question, you complaint, they handle that question right away. It's a little bit different than customer success. Customer success is a little more strategic. Customer support is a little bit more, hey, like this specific answer you need, I can help you find it. And then product and engineering. From a sales perspective, product is basically they just build the product. They decide what features to be built. They organize everything. They kind of figure out. They talk to the customers, figure out what is needed, and they decide what's going to get developed on. And the engineering is going to be the folks that obviously do the programming and they develop the product, make sure that the product runs smoothly. And then there's other for early stage, like there's obviously like finance team, HR department. Usually, if you're really early, you don't have those things. Or if you don't have enough people, you don't have those things. Those are like luxuries from my point of view. So for us, we don't really have a finance team, for example. We don't really have an HR team. That's just kind of getting done by certain people in the company. All right. So there's a way. Recently, I ordered these in a certain way, and the way I ordered these is actually from the perspective of when the customer meets this particular team. And in some cases, the customer never really meets this team, but like what the actions this team does touches the customer, right? So first is always marketing, right? You see an ad, you understand you understand what the product does, then you talk to sales, then you sign up, then you get your stuff implemented, then you meet your customer success team, then you have some questions, and then you have suggestions for product, and then you use the product, right? So that's like the customer flow of when this particular department meets that customer. And a general rule of thumb is everyone hates the level above them. Okay? So as a salesperson, you hate marketing, right? Because marketing, they're advertising this product that doesn't even exist, or they're advertising this product that says, oh, we can do this for you. By the time you talk to the customer, this lead that they gave you is bad because they want XYZ, but we offer ABC. Right? So it's always butting heads like, hey man, you're not providing quality leads. And then everyone hates sales, right? Implementation, and pretty much everyone down the funnel hates sales because the sales team is promising, yeah, we can do this, we can do that for you, and because they're just trying to get the sale done, right? They're just trying to make the sale, and they're just like, yeah, we can do that, not a problem, that's super easy, etc. So they sign up, and then they talk to implementation, they're like, hey, yeah, we were promised this, and then now implementation's like, oh fuck, we can't do it because they already promised it. Now you gotta figure out how to make that happen, right? And you kind of go down the funnel. I'm actually not super clear on like who hates who here, but I think mostly customer success doesn't like implementation because they didn't set them up correctly, right? And then customer success will then pass issues on to customer support. Maybe they didn't do their job, and then the big one is product and engineering, because product is always trying to build new products, right? But they also understand the constraints. So it's like, hey, you can't just build something out of the blue. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of different technical things that need to be done. There's a lot of thinking through like how is this gonna look, how is it gonna be designed, and the actual building of it. Whereas everyone else is like, yo, like why the fuck can't you just build this and help us make it easier for the customer to use, right? So one of the things that I realized early on is I was doing sales, my friend was doing engineering, and then like at one point we were like not allowed to talk to each other anymore. Because what would happen is, customer would ask me, hey, can you add this button here? And I'd be like, yeah, for sure, probably. Yeah, let me get back to you. And I'd be like, hey, engineering, can you add this button here? And they're like, why? Right? And I go, oh, customer wants it. And they go, okay, well, have you really thought through like how is actually gonna work, etc.? And I'm like, no. But in my mind, I'm just like, yo, if we're gonna get paid, if you add this button, we get paid, right? Then why wouldn't you just add it? So then that's the reason engineering and sales and really product they don't really get along. Because because of those reasons. So kind of interesting way to think about it, but that's generally how I think these teams interact with each other. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have to add to that. Hope that's helpful, and yeah, see you in the next one. Thanks.